Hey all you petrol heads, this is RealScope82 and this is a recap from the 5th endurance race of the season with Danish Racing League. And here we have the starting grid, and I have to say the start of this race was a bit messy down the field. So let's start by focusing a bit on that, because Havoc here did have no part of it really, but he got the most damage out of it. Here we slowed it down a bit. Gumse gets hit and basically thrown around like a ragdoll, and look at what happens to Havoc. Not only does he get his car wrecked, he also gets a 5-second penalty, which is just basically freaking ridiculous. We are now on board with Greedy Mag, because it doesn't start with him, it starts with Gumse, but he has a very late break-in, which meant that Gumse got a very wide push. But now we are on to the front of the race. I do manage to get a great start from 5th and right up into 2nd. Sadly, there was a fast devil though, and we also have a bit of touching, but thankfully we're both down in speed enough so that we didn't get too much affected by it. And right off the bat, Iron Duck and the fast devil basically pulls ahead in front, and I have a nice battle with the Brumbass, which was later determined by several stupid mistakes on my part, but we'll get back to those. Right now, we're just having a great little duel with a bit of gap down to 5th spot. Let's have a little view down the field after about half a lap here to see how it's settled in after that chaotic start. Coming up towards the end of lap 1, the battle was still going strong between the Iron Duck and the Fast Devil. And behind them, me and Brumbass was also having a bit of a cheek-to-cheek dance. Behind us though, down in 7th, Knet's day was about to get a little bit worse. Cause just a wee bit of grass on the rear wheel tires and he's gone. Out on lap 2, I was really starting to hear the humming. So I know Brumbass was coming, which made me do some unforced errors here. Not the best line for me. And Brumbass just flies right into 3rd. But not all bad, to be honest, at this point, because I could save a fair bit of fuel and still stay behind the Brumbass. Up in front though, the Fast Devil had not given up on the lead of the race, which gives us now a great racing duel with minimal of errors and just sweet, sweet racing. We're moving a bit down the field now for a duel between 8th and 7th, between Quiddy Mac and Bile. This is both a pretty cool duel because they're switching places a couple of times, but also showing you how not to do it really, because this ends in damage in 2 occasions. We'll go into detail with that in a bit, but let's just enjoy the duel first. As Billy goes in for probably an early pit stop for him on his strategy, let's have a look at why he does this, because the first contact ruins his rear bumper. Not too nice. And the next contact here ruins his left rear wheel. So, early pit stop for him. Let's move up, because we are into first place. Well, basically because everybody else had pitted at this time, and I was just going for one lap further. We're looking at Ricardo now. We're a couple of laps behind, but this has got to be the most perfect takeout I've seen in Gran Turismo for a long time. And Ricardo even gets that freaking penalty. And we've been playing Burnout this day. I'm pretty sure Pyrrhus would have gotten full nitrous meter here. Because damn, what a takeout. After that incident, let's have a look at how Ricardo actually got back up through the field after a lovely little pit stop. Now, that's some good clean racing for you right there. No contact, just pure awesomeness. This will not be the last time these two guys meet though, but we'll get back to that later as well. Up in front, the duel is back on. Iron Duck does not just want to let the victory sail away, which means that he now actually managed to make a move that stuck, and he's back in the lead. But the duel continues into this very nice drag race. now it's time for an episode of You Don't Want This When You're Lapping a Dude. Look at the damage on his right rear tire. Out on lap 15, I was again hearing a strong humming, which meant that the Brumbass was again coming for me. And again, I make a slight driver error, which meant that Brumbass was now back into third. As we drive past Knet here, we had a little accident. It's now time to have a look at the filthiest. Well, maybe not the filthiest, but it's right up there. I'm on worn tires, and I am in the slipstream. And god damn it, I braked too late. I am very sorry to Brumbass, because if he had had any hopes of catching up to the Iron Duck and the Fast Devil, right there, that did not help his case at all. I got a bit of penalty, and I wrecked my car, and I make the stupid mistake of not going into the pits because I blindly wanted to follow my pit strategy, because I thought, hey, I can do this. But yeah, this is another example of what you don't want when you're lapping a dude. I know I was not driving as fast as I could be, but if you can't pass and then drive away, then you should stay behind, really. But yeah, I go up for a second lap while having a destroyed front of my car, which was very time expensive for me. And here we're now on board with Gumse for another episode of You Don't Want This When You're Lapping a Guy. It's not a good race for lapping. That's why we are in with Gumse. We don't see it as clearly here, but this... we were in a straight battle for fourth here, and you don't want to come between that. Here we see it. Gumse is pulling out a bit, but he's going out so he can get a better line in the next corner and probably pass me because I was going slower. So it did give some penalty to Knet and probably a bit of damage to Gumse. But let's move on to Rakayo, because he shows you how to perfectly wreck that Mercedes. To be honest though, he lost his brake pedal and there was nothing he could do. And this just gave him penalty and an extra trip to the pits. When he had the pedal on, of course. So that was basically his race over right there. But yeah, let's get back up to me, who does another bonehead move. And we're down into fifth. Misery does love company though, so yeah, that is not lucky from Mr. Highway Hole here. Damn it, there are some weird accidents in this race on Nurburgring. After 21 laps, I think it's time for a nice little view down the field. And here's where we landed, after actually getting the pit stop. Again, so sorry. Brumbass, that was just a poor example of driving right there. And driving 2 laps with a broken car was also horrendously stupid. And we've skipped several laps here, and this is where I find my groove. I have my pit manager with me on the stream, giving me good advice, and he was like, come on man, if you can do solid laps now, quick and stable, no crashes, you can still catch up to Creedy Mac. I was like, I'm not sure, but god damn it, I'm gonna go for it. So the last 5 laps of the race, I went for a 1:57 time, which was the best lap times I've churned out throughout the race. And I just got into the zone and capturing that Creedy Mac. And we're now out on lap 30, which is gonna be the last lap of the race. Can we catch him for that 6th spot? As you see, the front guy is now crossing the finish line. I had caught up completely to Mr. Creedy Mac. I'm sure he was fuel saving like a mofo in order to get that Porsche home to the finish line. But I didn't need to. I could go full out. And I do manage to get the momentum on the last corner here before the back straight. Get right up in the slipstream. And Greedy Mag is trying to cut off both the inside and the outside lane. And you can't do that, man. I saw the gap and I went for it. I'm up into 6th. And we're gonna keep it all the way into the finish line. Because Greedy, he got a bit of the penalty. But let's have a look at how the race ended for everybody. And a big congrats to Mr. Iron Dog for another victory here in the first season. Very nicely done, man. In second, of course, I almost am tempted to say the Fast Devil 24, but he had a lot of penalty. I don't know if is it his aggressive driving that makes him just cut the track sometimes and get that shortcut penalty-ish, because he had over 5 seconds of penalty just before the finish line. But Brumbass in third, and seeing the race afterwards, I am crying just a wee bit that I could have been battling Brumbass for third all the way until the freaking finish line, but no. Look at this. Havoc, after the crash in turn 1, he stayed in the race, dealt with it, and got a 5th place in the end. That is excellent driving, man. Way to stick with the race. And we are driving endurance races here, so a lot can happen. And here we are, back to the old duel between Highway Hall and Rakayo. And again, Rakayo shows he's a perfect gentleman, waiting for Highway Hall after he makes a big mistake in the last chicane, basically giving him the 8th spot here. Rakayo, of course, settling in as number 9. Pius finish in the top 10th there. In 11th, we have Bille. And in 12th, we have Canet. Now, if you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to smash the like button and hit the subscription button, because there will be more Gran Turismo videos just in a couple of days, and that will be from the final race of the season, Monza. First in Formula F1500, and then the Group 3 cars. So, I hope you will enjoy those as well.